winners? Let the pros show you how to make money. General Manager Al DeMarco, a regular contributor on Fox Sports, MSNBC, and Comcast Sports TV, brings over 25 years of handicapping experience to the table. CEO Steve Budin, the author of Bets, Drugs, and Rock and Roll, is the man responsible for creating the online betting industry. Together, they lead PickNation.com, your number one source for winners.
Can the Falcons remain undefeated? Do the Eagles bounce back after a hectic bye week where they fired the defensive coordinator and Andy Reid, of course, incredible coming off a bye? Do the Giants get revenge against Dallas, beating the Cowboys after the Cowboys did them in the season opener? All that and more to be discussed today in this week's edition of the Countdown to Kickoff program, the only nationally televised show that breaks down all of your top college and pro games every weekend from a point spread perspective. Al DeMarco here along with Steve Budin. This is our sixth year of doing this on FoxSports.com. You are also watching us on Sports Time Ohio, which means you are catching us nationwide on DirecTV and Dish Network as well. And Steve, you know, last week it was not a week where the Dogs dominated, but they certainly did cash enough, not like 2 weeks ago where the Dogs just went crazy covering 12 out of the 14 games, but still, I know that the law of averages always plays out, and sooner or later, the chalks are going to start coming in.
And we talk about it all the time, and that's not bringing disdain from 1 week into the next week and letting it cloud your vision of where the real value is. You have to be open to both the favorites and the underdogs, see which one jumps off the page, and that's the one that you bet.
You know, Steve is a former bookmaker, the guy that literally created what you now know as the offshore sportsbook betting industry. I used to be a sports reporter. I used the experience I gained from covering teams and players, and that has really shaped my handicapping philosophy, and I've been doing this for 25 years. You know, Steve, I find the first game on today's board is kind of interesting. You've got New England and St. Louis playing over in London at Wembley Stadium. I was there in August over in London, right around the Olympics, and at that time they announced Jacksonville was going to be playing next year. I'm reading every single tabloid. I'm reading the Standard. I'm reading the Irish Times. I'm reading everything. No mention. They could care less that the NFL was coming here. I personally never think the NFL is ever going to be a global product. It's never going to be something other than expats and some curious fans are going to be flocking to Wembley. But from your perspective, what does it mean to the NFL gambling-wise to those in England?
Well, with the advent of the internet, what happens now is when you walk into the local shops and cafes that have the betting in London, which is amazing to do because it's like walking down New York City and being able to pop into an OTB and bet soccer or football. They also have the internet platform. On the internet platform, football is number 3. It's soccer, cricket, and then football. So there is an audience building. You're right. It's not as big as soccer or cricket, but if you're going to expand the league, that's the natural place to do it because in Europe, they're betting already. So the culture of gambling is there already. That should make it an easy fit.
Not that people watch games because they have money on them. Don't ever assume that's what we're talking about. But I think next week we're going to do our first cricket show here. Let's talk about this New England game. Listen, the Patriots did not play well for a second straight week. Last week it was at home against the Jets. They blew a 10-point second-half lead. Week prior, they blew a 10-point lead or more at Seattle and ultimately lost that game. They were able to rally, force overtime, win against the Jets last week. But I certainly don't feel comfortable with the way the Patriots are playing here. They just don't seem to be jiving right now in sync offensively. Tom Brady, some gaudy numbers, but they haven't been able to run the ball effectively the last 2 weeks, and I think that's hurt them. St. Louis has played very well defensively this season.
Yeah, well, Bill Belichick continues to defy his defensive guru status. His defense stinks. Let's face it, they gamble more than the people watching this show. And when you have a defense that takes chances, they're susceptible to the big play. That's what we've seen with New England so far this season. They're getting by on one thing and one thing only, and I've said it every single week. It's Tom Brady's arm. Now, the good news is St. Louis offensively, not much to worry about there. so Brady's arm should suffice. I'm going with New England here, laying the wood.
And what Steve was referring to, I mean, the Jets of all people had 403 total yards of offense against this New England defense, or lack thereof, a week ago. Now, meanwhile, the Rams, of course, are coming off a 30-20 home loss against Green Bay, a game in which Aaron Rodgers had 3 more touchdown passes, a game in which the Packers had 402 total yards in this contest. This is a tough game. I mean, I think I have to go with you. I think that since both teams are traveling across the pond, as they say, I would probably lean toward taking St. Louis plus the points. No opinion on the total in this contest either. Anything from you on this one?
Well, I mean, for the total, I'd always look to go over with New England. I mean, if you look at them historically this year and throughout the years, big favorite betting the over with them.
Yeah, that's true. They're on a 33-12 overrun. Listen, guys, next game is going to be San Diego and Cleveland. We remember the last time we saw the Chargers in action, don't we? Blowing that 24-0 lead at Monday night against the Denver Broncos, and they blew it at home. Well, Norv Turner and the Chargers rebound today in Cleveland against the Browns. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But first, we want to talk about fantasy football. Every single week at PickNation.com, we run a free contest, $500 total prize money available. And Steve, top 20 finish in the money.
Right, and as soon as people hear fantasy, they change the channel because they think this is your grandmother's fantasy, where all year long you draft your team to finally win $100 at the end of the year. Not the case. This is week to week. It's action. It's every single week. You win or lose. You can enter the contest each and every week. It doesn't matter if you've entered it before. Like Al said, $500 in cash prizes. It's absolutely free, so no reason not to enter.
I mean, last week, guys, we had a hell of a contest over at PickNation.com with the free Fantasy Football League contest. 4.5 points separated first place and third place. Tightest top 3 finish we've ever had in the 2 years we've been running this contest. A guy by the name with the username of Nails4 managed to win it thanks to having Jay Cutler on Monday night, and I think Matt Schaub with the Houston Texans on Sunday leading the way for his quarterback production. Remember, guys, you're drafting a couple of quarterbacks, a couple of wide receivers, a couple of running backs, a couple of tight ends. You're putting a team together. You've got until 1 o'clock Eastern time here on Sunday to finalize your roster. Again, top 20 finish in the money, and then $125 goes to the first place finisher, $75 to second place finisher, $50 to third place finisher. But again, top 20 finish in the money, and like you said, instant gratification, because after the Monday night game between the 49ers and the Cardinals, that's it. You're going to know Tuesday morning who won this contest.
And if you want to play this style, of fantasy football, Draft Street is the only place that has it. You can get it on PickNation.com.
Okay, guys, next game is going to be the San Diego-Cleveland contest. The Browns, they snapped their losing streak 2 weeks ago, beating Cincinnati at home, and then they fell right back into starting a new one last week by losing to the Indianapolis Colts. Listen, the Browns they don't have anything going defensively. That's the problem with them. I like San Diego in this spot to rebound because this is a bad team that the Chargers can beat. You put the Chargers against a good team, they don't do anything. Put them against a bad team, this is a team they can certainly beat.
And San Diego hasn't done great this year. I mean, we've seen this movie before with Norv Turner, slow starts, underachieving, soft all the way around. But the difference, and I said it earlier, and it's very important, gamblers, don't bring your disdain from the week before into the next week where it clouds your vision and it doesn't enable you to see value when it presents itself. This is value here, -3 with the Chargers. They should destroy this Cleveland team, which is complete crap.
Absolutely, and you're talking about value. If the Chargers had not coughed that 24-0 lead against Denver, if they had won that game comfortably like it looked like they were going to through the first half of that game, no doubt in my mind San Diego is a 6.5-point favorite here today. So you got tremendous value, and it's a must-win game for the Chargers, for Norv Turner, I think, especially. This team has collapsed after a strong start, losing 3 of its last 4 games. I think one of the problems has been Phillip Rivers. Everybody talks about Michael Vick, but this guy's been a turnover machine as well. 14 turnovers he's accounted for this season. But I think the key here is that a Colts team that can't run the ball ran the ball at will against the Browns last week. Ryan Matthews is healthy, 232 total yards, last 2 games for the Chargers. I think they'll be able to move the ball on the ground, and that certainly will help them offensively in this contest. Philadelphia-Atlanta, this is a good game we're going to talk about. Before we do, quick reminder, guys, the all-access pass at PickNation.com is unique to our industry because it's your opportunity to get my best bet today, Steve's latest best bet from his red-hot Baltimore crew that's 43-24 the past 5 years, and all the plays from every single handicapper at our site for free, no strings attached. It's the one-day free all-access trial pass.
Yeah, and let's face it, we've had to overcome a lot of obstacles in this industry. In the 80s and 90s, the guys on the phone, let's face it, they were scam operations. So coming into this business, we had to find a way to prove to everybody out there that we weren't them, that we were the antithesis of them. So what we did was we made our plays available to everybody through the all-access pass, absolutely free. So before you ever decide whether or not you want to be part of our service, you can see exactly what's going on the site. It's one of the best things that we do.
And you're getting over $600-700 of action today for free. And the reason we do it is we're that confident that we've put together a roster of handicappers that can win on a consistent basis and make you money. Consistent basis, make you money long term. What better way to do it? We put our money where our mouth is by giving you everything for free, no strings attached.
100%. It's the all-access pass. Just come to Pick Nation. You'll see a big yellow ad right on top. Click on it. You'll get everything absolutely free.
Well, guys, next game, you got Atlanta catching 2 points at Philadelphia. Kind of funny. The Falcons are undefeated, but they're catching 2 points because everybody says, you know, hey, Andy Reid undefeated off the bye, 14-4 ATS off the bye in his career, including playoffs. You've got a Philadelphia Eagles team, when we last saw them, was collapsing once again in the fourth quarter, blowing a lead against the Detroit Lions, losing at home in overtime. Day afterwards, he sacked his defensive coordinator, Juan Castillo. They've got offensive line injury problems. They've got changing personnel there. You've got Michael Vick, who is a turnover machine, as I alluded to earlier. And you've got an Eagles team that is 1-5 against the spread today. All that being said, they're laying 2 points against Atlanta.
And they're in complete disarray. They got rid of their defensive coordinator, Juan Castillo, you mentioned earlier. Andy Reid now on the hot seat. And you're right, public perception, and I happen to agree with it, is that when you have a team that they have a beloved coach like Andy Reid, and he's on the hot seat, they will play up for him. That's what everyone thinks is going to happen this week. But for me, the reason why the line tells such a story and why Atlanta is not the favorite, even though they're undefeated, is because, yeah, they're undefeated, but who the hell have they beaten? Nobody. Philadelphia has a real opportunity here to come in and win this game. I like the Eagles here.
I don't like the Eagles here at all. I like the dog. The dog is a perfect 6-0 in the Eagles games this year. I think they've got coverage problems. They're not going to be able to deal with Roddy White and Tony Gonzalez and Julio Jones. I don't think their pass rush, well, it hasn't. It's produced 7 sacks on the season. They had a NFL high 50 last year. I think Matt Ryan will absolutely shred this defense. I know it's a must-win game for the Eagles, but if there were must-wins, they wouldn't call this gambling.
That's for sure.
Jets in Miami. Jets have actually played well the last couple of weeks against Houston and New England. Did win in overtime at Miami in the first go-round because of a couple of missed field goal attempts by the Dolphins. In the rematch here, they're only a 2.5, 3-point favorite. I got to go with the Jets, as much as I hate saying that.
Yeah, we're going to save money, by the way, with our bookmaker on both of the last 2 games. Jets life and death to beat the Dolphins last time. That was with Darrelle Revis. That was with Santonio Holmes. And let me try to do something different here and say something nice about Rex Ryan, okay? Big defensive guy, great defensive mind, maybe the best in the business in defense. When it comes to offense, worst talent evaluator I've ever seen. Tony Sparano, switching from Schottenheimer to Sparano was like going from the measles to the mumps. You shouldn't put Sparano in charge of the offense any more so than you should put him in charge of your freezer where your food is. His name should be Soprano, the way he murdered the Jets' chances of winning last week. I like Ryan Tannehill. I'm going with the Dolphins.
Wow. That was a backhanded compliment, I think, somewhere along the way for Rex Ryan and company. Hey, Jets are 3-0 against the spread as a favorite this year against all bad teams, Bills, Colts, and Dolphins. I'll back that trend. I'll take the Jets. Guys, that concludes part 1 of our program. When we come back, Chicago, Carolina is next up, and the rest of your games here on the Countdown to Kickoff Sunday edition. How would you like to get my best bet today and the plays of every single handicapper at picknation.com for free, no strings attached? Guys, I'm not kidding around. Al DeMarco here, general manager of the world's largest online sports gambling community, picknation.com. And today, you can get my best bet and the plays of every single handicapper at the site for free simply by using the one-day free all-access pass at picknation.com. That's right, my best bet, the plays of 10 handicappers for free. If you were to buy them separately, separately, guys, you would spend over $600, but you're going to get them for free, the one-day free all-access pass at picknation.com. Now, you're asking yourself, why am I giving it away for free? Because, guys, I'm that confident that I put together a staff of the best handicappers in the nation that can win for you on a consistent basis. What better way to show you how good they are than by giving you their plays today for free? Once again, the free one-day all-access pass available now. All you've got to do is click on the ad at picknation.com. Welcome back, everyone, to the Countdown to Kickoff program. Al DeMarco along with Steve Budin, the only nationally televised show that breaks down your top college and pro games every weekend from a point spread perspective. Quick reminder, if you missed any portion of today's show, you can watch it in its entirety over at picknation.com anytime, morning, noon, or night. Guys, we are going to take a look at the next game between Chicago and Carolina. Chicago, Monday night, I had the Bears. Now, this is a true reason why you watch games until the end, because it was a great play on the Bears until 30 seconds were left in the game, and then Matthew Stafford threw what to the Lions was a meaningless touchdown pass, was not so meaningless to gamblers like myself and a lot of our brethren in Vegas. Chicago encountered a very tough defensive team in Detroit on Monday night. They are not encountering a tough defensive team with Carolina today, however. That's why they're laying 9 points in this contest.
Right. Well, at first glance, you look at this line and it looks more bloated than Christy Alley pre-dancing to the stars. Ooh. But then you got to realize that this is the new Cam Newton, by the way, guys. He's not going to all of a sudden show up and be the guy from last year. It's not going to happen. He's 2-4 against the spread, 5 touchdown passes to 6 interceptions. Look, at the end of the day, on the other side, Jay Cutler, you know, I said it last week, one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the NFL. He's tough, he's gritty, he's competitive, and what a lot of people don't know, he's got a hot girlfriend, Kristen Cavallari, hot as hell, and you know what? I'm backing them. I'm going with Chicago here, minus the big wood, no pun intended.
Any other names that you want to drop here? I can't wait to see as we continue and motor through the second half of this show. Hey, listen, Chicago didn't cover on Monday night, but still, the Bears are 9-2 against the spread in the last 11 Jay Cutler starts. And the fact is, you know, in watching that Chicago contest the other night, I came to the conclusion that it may be scary to take Chicago against teams that have a great pass rush, which is why they lost to the Packers, which is why they really had trouble putting points on the board against the Lions. But against anybody else, go ahead and back the Bears, no matter what the point spread is, because this team has offensive talent. Matt Forte and Brandon Marshall. Chicago, I think, is already 3-0 straight up and against the spread this year, laying 6 or more points. Go ahead and lay the 9 points against a Carolina team that's 4-9 against the spread. Its last 13 as a road dog. Next contest, Pittsburgh and Washington. Steelers, just an injury-racked team here. Offensive line problems, running back problems. All that being said, they did manage to win last Sunday night, 24-17 at Cincinnati. Jonathan Dwyer stepped in at running back and produced his best game as a pro, 122 yards, 17 carries. Bottom line with this team, 431 yards versus 195 yards in total offense for the Bengals, is whether the defense can deliver and whether they can give Ben Roethlisberger some protection.
Well, the first thing I want to say about this game is that at -5, this is the right line. This isn't a game that's going to jump off the page and scream one side or the next. I mean, this is the good old, and I will stress old, Pittsburgh defense against an RG3 who, to me, most talented quarterback in the league, bar none. But the question is, can the rookie get his team up after the emotional loss last week with the Giants? Pittsburgh always plays good at home. I expect them to play good at home again. I'm going to back Ben Roethlisberger here and lay the points with the Steelers.
Well, the Steelers have won 10 of their last 11 straight up at Heinz Field. They're 8-0 straight up, 6-2 ATS in their last 8 at home versus non-divisional foes. And I think you hit it right on the head there. Washington coming off that loss. This is still a young team. And even though RG3 has played magnificently, even though they had 480 total yards last week against the Giants, hey, everybody's been putting up big yardage numbers against the Giants. Giants defense isn't that good. We'll talk about them in a minute. As a matter of fact, it's the next game with Dallas. But I think in this contest, not only do I lean a little towards Pittsburgh, but I looked at the total as well, 47.5 points. Washington's defense isn't that impressive. So I think that Roethlisberger will be able to exploit it. At the same time, because of injuries and because of age, this is not the steel curtain defense of years ago. Much like Baltimore Ravens, they're living on their past reputation, so I can see some points being scored in this contest.
Well, you're right, because both of these teams live and die with their offense. All of their superstars are on their offense, and you're right about that. The over obviously looks good here.
Okay, next game is going to be the Giants in Dallas. Hey guys, and just a quick reminder, you can watch my daily video reports every single day over at picknation.com. I break down the games for you from a point spread perspective, give you in-depth analysis, plus special promotions, money-saving discount coupon codes that'll save you $17, $20, $25 off a purchase, 20% discounts on your total purchase every Saturday. And then we have the $5 play of the week promotion and the charity play of the week promotion, where I give you a best bet of one of our handicappers for free, and if it wins, the next day I ask you to make an anonymous donation of whatever amount you can afford to do so to an organization or a family that needs some type of financial assistance. And you can get all the details by watching my daily video report over at picknation.com. It's free to watch, no purchase necessary, no registration required. Check it out at picknation.com. Steve, Giants in Dallas, season opener, as we alluded to early in the program. Cowboys came in and dominated the Giants at home. But now it's time for the Giants to get a little revenge. Dallas has some injury concerns. DeMarco Murray, who had that big game a couple of weeks ago at Baltimore, didn't play last week at Carolina, a game in which the Cowboys were lucky to win. We were on them last week. If he's not available, and he most likely will not be, that's a problem. Also, their top tackler, linebacker Sean Lee, season-ending knee injury, he's gone for the year.
What a strange line this is at Giants -1, a virtual pick'em. Obviously, the boys came into Jersey, shocked the world, beat the crap out of the Giants. But the problem is, Al, that's the best that the Cowboys have played all season long. So when I look at this team, the choice is clear. It is, do you want to bet on the consistency of Eli Manning and the Giants program, or are you going to spin the roulette wheel with the Dallas Cowboys? Now, I was on red the last 2 weeks with the Cowboys, but I'm changing to black today, or should I say blue. I'm going with the Giants here.
Hey, listen, the Giants, since that opening loss, they've won 5 of their last 6, and the only loss came in the final minute of play at Philadelphia, which they lost, I think it was 19-17, the final score. And the Cowboys, they've been a money-burning team. As a former bookmaker, you must look at those teams, and they're one of those public teams. Of course, in this game, you've got 2 public teams, but as a former bookmaker, you must look at them and go, yeah, let the money come in. You know the fact that the Cowboys are 6-15 against the spread their last 21 games against division foes at home. They've only covered two times in their last 11 home games, no matter who the opponent is. So to say that they're a cash cow would be wrong. They're just a money burner.
Right, well, Dallas, not the greatest team at home. Giants, very, very strong on the road. But all of those stats go into the line, and we talk about that all the time. So you have to put those stats on the side and then get back to the game, get back to the line, figure out who's going to win. For me, it's the Giants here.
And also, Steve, how about the total here? 47.5 points. Now, I know what happened the first go-round in this contest, but we have seen Dallas get shredded defensively at home by Chicago in that Monday night game. We've seen the Giants get shredded defensively almost every single game this season, especially at home. We know Eli Manning's hot. If Tony Romo doesn't throw 5 interceptions like he did in that Monday nighter against the Bears, I think that this is a game that you could easily see somewhere around 53, 54 points being scored.
The only problem is that I haven't seen Dallas put those kind of points up yet this year. And they've gone up against very soft defenses so far this year, and they really haven't scored the big points. So I kind of like the under here. I'm a big fan of the Giants' defense. Even though they're banged up, I think this game is going under.
Okay, but we both agree Giants for the side,
Giants,
though. That's the
what counts.
favorite
That's
play
what
on this
counts.
one.
Absolutely.
And guys, remember, you can get my best bet and the play of Steve's Baltimore crew, 43-24 over the past 5 years, and all the plays of all the handicappers at picknation.com today for free, no strings attached, simply by using the one-day all-access pass.
Yeah, it's the best thing we have going on the site, and nobody else does it. And the reason why they don't do it is because they don't want you to know what's behind the curtain. We do. That's our gamble. That's how we show you what we do before you stick your hand in your pocket and make any important decisions. You get the all-access pass absolutely free.
And guys, most importantly, you got to realize the value that you're getting. When you see the handicappers that are selling their plays anywhere from $59 to $89 individually, you're getting them all for free. So in essence, you're getting $600-700 of action today for free, no strings attached.
When you pay for the all-access pass, you're still getting a value. Imagine the value that you get when you get it for free.
And again, we do it because we believe we put together the most consistently winning group of handicappers on a long-term basis in the industry. And what better way to prove it than showing you, as Steve said, pulling back the curtain, showing you behind the green door everything for free. Last game we're going to touch on today is going to be the Sunday night contest between Denver and New Orleans. Broncos last seen 2 Monday nights ago, overcoming that 24-0 first half deficit and beating up San Diego on the road. You know, I alluded to this in last week's show. The fact that, you know, you just play the Broncos second half every single game this season.
It's like you read my notes.
You're undefeated. I mean, you're undefeated. That's the thing. They have been outscored 98-42 in the first half. They have outscored their opponents 128-40 in the second half.
Yeah, it hasn't been a pretty season for the Saints. But what they did do is their last 2 games were must-wins if they were going to stay mathematically involved in the playoff picture. They won those games. They now are in a position where they can make the playoffs. Denver, you're right. This is the trend with Denver. They take the first half off, and then the second half they come and they throw everything at you but the kitchen sink to beat you. I'm going with that trend. I'm getting on top of it. I'm going to bet the Saints here in the first half, plus 3.5 points. I think that gets the money.
Oh, that's interesting. I'll tell you, I like Denver a little in this contest, but I look at this total, guys, and at 55.5, you can make this 155 points. It doesn't matter. This game is going over. Listen, last week, the Saints, who haven't played any defense at all this season, it's a foreign term.
Oh, my God.
In
Their
New Orleans.
defense should be outlined in chalk. It's like dead in arrival.
But, I mean, last week, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers accumulated 513 yards in total offense. Josh Freeman threw for 420 yards and 3 touchdowns. And Vincent Jackson, they still haven't stopped this guy from last week's game. So if that can happen with Josh Freeman, and this isn't a knock on Josh Freeman, but for Christ's sake, it's Josh Freeman, guys. This is Peyton Manning. I think Manning will just be able to find plenty of holes in this secondary. You know, and it's going to be, I can certainly see what you said, taking New Orleans in the first half, because obviously the numbers back it up. I don't know why it is Peyton is just having such a hard time getting the offense cranked here in the first half of games this season.
Well, earlier in the season, I thought it was because he didn't get enough time in preseason. Because with the injury and the $100 million contract, he wasn't getting the snaps. That's why by the 3rd or 4th game of the regular season, I really thought he would come into his own. It's got to be a timing thing. It's got to be a new team thing. For whatever reason, by the second half, it's almost like they throw out the game plan and just let Peyton be Peyton. And when they do that, they have tremendous success.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it in the San Diego game. We saw it in the Monday night game, the near comeback win at Atlanta. We saw it at home against Pittsburgh. We saw the second half explosion against the Oakland Raiders at home. I think that you got to ride that. I think that's a great way to play it. The other way I would think about this particular contest is potentially in a teaser. I don't think Denver loses this game at home, and in a 2-team teaser, you're saying the Broncos are pick 'em.
Absolutely, and you can even bring that total 55 down to 49 and go with Denver and the over in that game. That's also a great teaser.
Yeah, I might have to bet that one. Okay, guys, that'll conclude this week's edition of the Countdown to Kickoff program. Remember, you can catch us here on foxsports.com every single Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday as we break down your college games and your pro games and your Monday night game as well. And remember, if you missed any portion of today's show, you can catch it in its entirety over at picknation.com. Make sure you check out that one-day all-access pass free trial and the $500 total prize money in the free Fantasy Football League contest. For Steve Budin, this is Al DeMarco. And once again, guys, we will catch you next week when we re-rack and do it all over again.